When you hear people say stuff like, oh man, it's staged, they were saying that before they ever even found out what was happening in the details and the shooter, and we're going to get into all of that, right? They were saying that, oh man, this is just because. You are going to have people saying the wildest of things, no matter what, unsubstantiated. They don't give the benefit of the doubt. Listen, you have a better chance of a woman. You have a better chance of a woman coming out and saying, he did something to me, believe all women, than you have of watching a real-time video of a president getting his ear shot off. They'll believe a woman before they believe a president. They will believe a woman accusing a man of something that he may or may not have done, and they will sell you on a narrative to believe that. You will believe the same people, honest to God, the very same people, some of the very same people that say believe all women was sitting here saying it was staged. I watched Amanda Seales. I did a review video on it. Amanda Seales, think about this for a second. The first thing that she did was she said that it was staged, and then she started referring to her Broadway play days. But this is the exact same woman that stood for Jussie Smollett and said, make sure that you believe him. I can't believe that y'all not believing him. This is racism. And then when we all found out and it was proven that Jussie Smollett lied and tried to manufacture this obviously wrong story to say that somebody or two white men, when it turned out to be two Africans, went over there and beat him up on the coldest day in Chicago while he was on his way out to go get some Subway at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what she said? Well, I mean, it was noble. She said that it was noble. Noble. So what a lot of y'all got to understand when y'all listening to these people and y'all going back and forth, what a lot of y'all have to understand is that when you hear these people say certain things, it's not for you to defend. You just listen, take it in, and not every conversation needs to be had. Not every argument needs to be argued. You don't have to convince. Look, I'm never going to try to convince somebody that's dead set on thinking what they want to think, especially these older people or these super liberals. I'm not going to spend my precious time trying to convince them otherwise. But what I will do is use them as an example of how ignorant that they are so that I can convince the people that truly are looking for information so that they can compare and contrast and then be able to make the decision for themselves. We don't use these people as an opportunity to prove them wrong. We use them as an example so that we can then show you what you shouldn't be or give you information so you can make your own informed decision. We're not trying to convince these people. We're not trying to convince these people that's dead set that's going to vote the way that they're going to vote regardless. We're not trying to tell them to do anything different. We using them as examples. They punching bags. They crash dummies. That's like trying to convince a man not to be a stepbaby daddy. He gonna do that anyway. He gotta suffer for himself before he can make an informed decision on why he gotta go through it so we can use him as an example of what not to do. We're not trying to convince him. We're using him as an example. Anyways, let's get into the moment the Secret Service takes out the shooter.
My guys, take a look at that chart.
It is exactly what these counter snipers trained to do. But this was the first time in history, according to a former senior agent, that a Secret Service sniper killed a would-be assassin. But clearly, a shot too late. In the moments leading up to the deadly shooting, you can see those two counter snipers scanning for threats in their positions on the rooftop behind former President Trump.
If you've ever been to a rally, which I have, I've been to several. If you ever even been to the White House, what you can see is people that are all around. See, they're not going to show you this on TV. And because a lot of y'all don't come outside, you're not familiar with what the norm is and what has been normalized when you actually participate in a lot of these things, right? If you even went to the NFL draft, the draft was here in Detroit, and you look into the water, you can see all of the snipers. You can see snipers on top of roofs. You can see police officers patrolling in the water. If you go and walk over to the White House and you do a tour in Washington, D.C., you can see them walking on the roof. You can see them paying attention and seeing everybody that's around them. This is normal for those of you guys that are not familiar. This is normal. Before these presidents, before these legislators even come into your sphere, they've already scoped out every high point and all of that. So what I have drawn the conclusion of is that this has to be an inside job. This is my theory. I can't prove it. I can't substantiate it. So I have to preface it by saying, and using my platform responsibly, by saying that I believe, even in Trump's circle, and the same way that you can't even trust some of the people that's around you because they'll sell you out for 50 cents, some bubble gum and a Diet Coke and a corned beef sandwich, is the same way that I believe that he was set up as an inside job. Because if you've ever been to any one of these things or you ever familiar with what's going on, you ain't even going to attempt to try to do no junk like that. I believe 100% that this was inside.
High-powered rifles appear to be pointed in the direction.
Some people are saying Secret Service failed. I don't think that it's a fail. I think that it was something that was intentional. We'll get there.
Of the gunman's position on an adjacent building overlooking the rally. Within seconds, chaos.
He's going down! Stand here. He's on top of the roof. Don't go over there.
Does that sound like popcorn to y'all, like Amanda Seals? Let me rewind that for the people in the back. I want to know, does this sound like a Broadway play popcorn? Like Amanda, she just needs to just take that down. She needs to get off the internet for like 6 months. Disappear for like 6 months. Get her mind right and come back. Tell me if this sounds like a Broadway play.
Overlooking the rally. Within seconds, chaos.
He's going down!
That sounds nothing like a Broadway play to me.
Stand here. He's on top of the roof. Don't go over there.
The sniper appears momentarily startled by the gunfire, his face leaving the scope, but then quickly recovering and taking out the would-be assassin.
There's no room for error, so that shot placement has to be absolutely precise.
We can see the guy there.
Authorities saying this is the lifeless body of the shooter on the roof of that building. According to a former agent, Secret Service counter-sniper teams should have scoped out and advanced all those areas where there were potential threats beforehand and known what the line of sight to Trump could be.
The fact that somebody was able to get within 200 yards with a rifle and be on an exposed rooftop, be seen by other people there, be seen by where it should have been cameras and drones and many other things in place to watch for that, something broke down. That shooter with that rifle should have never been that close to the former president of the United States at a venue.
Anastasio, I will say this. I've been doing extensive research, right? Because I'm trying to understand everything, and it's coming to me in the same way that it's coming to y'all, right? But because I have a platform, it's important for me to do a deeper dive and try to find out every single thing. So I've been watching interviews and going back and looking at different requests from the White House and the denials and all of that. And one of the things that is a fact, it's not even my opinion, this is a fact, is that former president and future president Donald Trump requested additional Secret Service. They've been requesting this for years, all while they were trumping up charges and trying to get him up out of office and trying to make him out to be a felon and doing everything that they can, doing every single thing that they can to prevent him from trying to be nominated as the Republican nominee so that the people can choose of whether or not he can be president of the United States of America. They've been asking for additional service members and additional resources to protect him at his homes, at his rallies, at everything. And he'd been denied 10 times out of 10. A lot of people widely known and reported. A lot of y'all forgot, but Anton didn't. There's multiple different sites that you can reference back to, and that supports exactly what it is that they said. Denied, Mayorkas denied repeated requests for more Secret Service. The House Homeland Security committed. Well, who is Mayorkas? Let's look him up for a second. Mayorkas, this guy right here, Mayorkas, he's the same man that they were trying to remove from office. This is a fact. This is not my opinion. This is the same person that they were trying to fire from leaving the borders open and letting over 15 million plus immigrants, illegal immigrants, into the country. I did a whole live stream on him. I did a whole live stream on Mayorkas. He's the same person that oversee and is supposed to be making sure that we keeping our borders under control. And so he's very much protected by the Biden administration because he's a part of the Biden administration. And so they were trying to remove him from office. This is the same person that repeatedly denied. And I'm not saying that he was up to anything. I'm not saying that it was intentional. I don't know what's going on. I'm just telling you the facts. I can give my opinion later, but I'm telling you the facts. This is the same person that is the head of the Department of Homeland Security who's overseeing and actually participated in trying to prevent Texas from securing its own borders. And when they were calling for the removal of him by several different legislators, including Congress members, when they were calling for his removal, it was denied. Why? I don't know. But he's also the person that denied multiple different requests for additional Secret Service for protection from Trump. That is a fact. That is not my opinion. A House Republican lawmaker is alleging that Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas denied stronger Secret Service protection for former President Trump on multiple times. Made the accusation hours after Trump was grazed by a bullet. This is not my opinion. All I'm doing is presenting to you what it is that I've been researching and what I've been paying attention to. And the funny thing about all of this is that you don't realize that it is what it is until after something happens. Then you start having all of these epiphany moments and you say, man, I did a report on this. Man, I did a report on that. Man, I remember that live stream. And all of those live streams are still up. All of those clips are still up. And so when they made these requests for additional Secret Service members, they said no. No, according to multiple different sources. Am I off? Only if the reports are. Only if the Congress members are. Only if the legislators are. Am I off? Maybe that's a conspiracy theory too, right? All I'm doing is reporting to you the real. Let's continue.
You like this?
So let's bring in Martha Raddatz on that point tonight. And Martha, you said it would be up to a Secret Service sniper team to have surveyed those buildings even beyond the perimeter, the security perimeter there. And the other question, though, is even if they had, is there an explanation as to why they wouldn't have seen that suspected shooter suddenly appear on the roof during that rally? This was some 8 minutes into the rally.
David, it's really unclear why they did not see him sooner. He obviously had time to climb onto that rooftop with a rifle, get in position to shoot, take aim, and fire off rounds that were accurate enough to come very close to killing former President Trump, David.
And Martha, you've covered so many of these political rallies yourself. I've covered them as well, and we've been in those crowds. And almost as reporters, I mean, we're not on the lookout, certainly, but you generally do look at the perimeter. It's something that you're kind of drawn to, particularly in your line of reporting as our global affairs correspondent. You've been to war zones all over the world, and in the midst of this very deeply divided country, you almost out of curiosity look around, which is why it's not surprising that there have been initial reports that a witness or two might have spotted something suspicious up on top of that roof, because it really wasn't that far away.
It really wasn't, and in fact, I think initial reports had it even farther away, but it was about 150 yards, and there were people gathered around that area. I'm in Washington, D.C. I see the president all the time and motorcade, so just as you say, David, we're very aware of that and ourselves looking around in that kind of environment, and witnesses do say they saw the shooter somewhere near that rooftop, David.
So that is what's happening from that perspective, all right?